Hezbollah persisting in Gaza and Lebanon, Qatari officials have announced they will no longer mediate a ceasefire for Hamas.
At least 26 people lost their lives and 62 others were injured when an explosion struck the busy Quetta railway station in southwestern Pakistan on Saturday morning.
Around 100 people were present near the blast site as a train was set to depart for Peshawar.
5 individuals are dead, including the suspected shooter, in a suspected murder-suicide involving family members in Duluth, authorities confirmed.
The victims included the wife, ex-wife, and 2 sons of 46-year-old Anthony Nephew.
A 31-year-old American tourist in Hungary who had been reported missing for several days was found dead, and authorities have arrested a suspect in connection with her murder, officials said.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
My dog is your mind's best.
I don't know about that. Is that a fact? I think we should check that fact.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
No.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Obviously, I haven't been making a lot of people laugh. You're all haters. You're all haters. Probably don't have many friends left in the world, but we'll address that. I don't know who I might have if there's nobody around. Good morning. It is Monday, November 11th, 2024. Veterans Day. If you going crazy over the events of last week. I think we did not put it behind. We're gonna. There are other, unfortunately, wish it would not sanity. I have in my that very famous person, hometown. He Haitian comedy. She's cool. And left, and because I am playing for social media, a lot of people. That's all filled toxic men bragged about things like gang rape and weren't even hiding it. And she didn't file any. She apparently. I was kind of embarrassed about it. I'm not naming names, by the way. I'm not going to do that. That would be terrible. But you know, so there's that. And then another guy chimed in with. He was a proud veteran. He forgets I know him I know him for 60 years, and he's not a proud veteran. I believe, I remember the night he went to boot camp in 1976, and he was older than me. Obviously, 1976, I was 15, 16 years old, and he was leaving for the Navy, and he told me he was getting in and getting out while there were no wars. He was just getting in for the benefit package and being able to have that on his resume because he didn't know what to do after high school. And he spent the entire time drunk. I have letters from him. He wrote from Italy from a hospital bed where he was driving drunk and drove off a hillside and spent 6 months of his 3 years in 3 years in Italy in a hospital for damage he did to himself for drunk driving. I don't think that qualifies as being necessarily a proud veteran, especially when he was very much like the soon-to-be commander-in-chief again, calling those people suckers and losers. So there's that. Anyway, some craziness that I wanted to address. I'm getting more spam podcast promoters at the moment. Jesus, these people never stop. I belong to a group on Facebook called the Time Travel. I think it's just time travel because I'm interested in the subject of time travel. I don't think it's possible with human technology or human physicality, but I'm not Einstein, and theoretically, people have said for years and years, maybe 100 years, that it is theoretically possible to travel through time. I don't, and we are all traveling through time 1 second at a time forward. But so I'm in this group, and this guy posts. His name is, what is his name now? Let me get his name here. James Gregory posts this thing that the key to time travel is to overcome or to negate Einstein's theory of special relativity. Be brave. He was wrong. And I was like, well, that's a bold statement. Let me look at the guy who's making this statement. And then, to be really quick about it, he got 153 comments from people saying, you're out of your fucking mind, dude. Well, to challenge Einstein, you got to, first of all, say his theory is wrong. You have to promote an alternate theory. What's your alternate theory? And the guy came up with, a bunch of word salad about what his theory might be. But here's challenging Einstein. And I looked him up. He's a local guy from Long Island, New York. And he is a senior spray tech guy at a spray-on chrome service for automobiles. This is he doesn't have any even bachelor's degree according to his profile. He's a high school graduate with basically a menial job in a factory of sorts. I guess senior spray tech is more than just menial, right? But he's challenging Einstein's theory of special relativity with not really what he says is, how dare you question me? How dare you question me? Because I work with mirrors and spray on chrome, and lasers. You think I don't know about light? Yes, I think you don't know about light. But now I'm seeing today, after tons and tons of people just kind of just tore him a new one. And I called him, I said, did Terrence Howard move to Long Island and change his name and become a spray tech, senior spray tech from an actor? He went in and edited his original post to say, 10 p.m. Eastern, physics unravels right here. Haters welcome, share this post. That's all he's got to say now. So he's totally taken down his rebuttal of Einstein and made it seem like people are reacting to that. This is where we're at with the insanity and craziness of people. We have high school graduates thinking they know better than Einstein about physics. This is a Terrence Howard thing. And the reason I'm coming back to is, remember not too long ago with Terrence Howard, I believe he said 1 + 1 is not 2, it's 1. And wanted to prove that. And Joe Rogan had him on. And Joe Rogan was so baffled by him, he needed to get Eric Weinstein on the program to argue with that. Like he couldn't argue with it on his own, saying, well, if I got one and I give you, I have one and you give me another one, how many do I have? I mean, it's basically that simple. 1 + 1 is always 2. No. Not according to Terrence. And Joe could not argue with that without help. And all these people were giving this guy some credibility on an absurd notion. Maybe it was 1 × 1, something like that. And maybe you say 1 × 1 is not 1, 2. I forget what it was, but it was simple math. And it's very easy. It's kindergarten math, really. You can refute this without the help of academics and doctors and people like that. So this is where we are in society. So how can we ever expect to get on a road to where a common shared reality if we're going to allow these people platforms and take them seriously? Now, I'm not saying Einstein was God, but I think it requires more than a high school diploma if you're going to argue against Einstein, and especially some of his advanced theories. And when it comes to special relativity, you're going to do that, you really should have some basic college level physics under your belt before you go down that road. Anyway, we have a we'll talk about this maybe. I know this bores the guys in the dog pound here. We have a very weird show for you today. In our second hour, we don't have a guest for the first hour. In our second hour, we have Mark and Tom. Is it Mark and Tom? Or, yeah, John and Mark. Well, I'm not special relatives. Cronin, they are the father and son team that created John's Crazy Socks. I'm not wearing any socks. Are you? Are they crazy? John's Crazy Socks, and they're a social enterprise with a mission to spread happiness through crazy socks. It's a crazy socks business. It's a local business, and I believe how they found me, how they found this program, was through my evening program where I had a lady on, a local minister, who was doing a show from her bed, her hospital bed. She was an author, but I think they know her somehow, and that's how they got on this program. And things are getting a little strange around here. Anyway, that's what we have for you later on today. Crazy Socks. If you're interested in how Crazy Socks as a business can be an ambassador for happiness, I think we need some happiness right now. Stick around for that. In the meantime, we're going to be talking to the guys in Dog Pound, probably going to venture into some political nonsense. I don't think it can be avoided at this point. But we'll deal with it. In the meantime, I want to tell you about Opus Clip Pro. Opus Clips Pro is a AI video platform that will help you get your video editing done and shorts creation, and not socks creation, but shorts creation. And and shorts and reels and AI reels and all that kind of stuff done very quickly, save you a lot of time. Opus Clip, check it. Damn good coffee and hot. Yeah. I said, yeah. I said, yeah. Good morning, ladies. In the room with me now, a man who never wears socks, our chief foot fetish correspondent, Ron Kane, funeral flower stealing Ron Kane, Stephen the sock boy Ortiz, and my best friend of the last 27 seconds, Mr. Are You Crazy? Are you?
Good morning, America. Are you a vet and think that you deserve more than a discount in the store? We agree. That's why when vets buy from MindDogTV.com, they get more than a discount. They get a receipt so that you can see what the discount was.
Wait.
MindDogTV.com. Support your local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering. And thank you for your service.
I just want to follow up with that. They don't get a receipt if they pay cash. There's just something
Yeah. So how come animal doctors get a special day, but human doctors don't? What the fuck?
You might assume we would go what you do more.
Because people love their animals more than they love their people.
What was the question? You heard the question? You got
I knew what the question was before you even said it, because I was going to actually make that turn in my opening, and I decided not to.
Okay,
what
can
was
you hear
the
me
question?
better now?
Why do animal doctors get a discount but human doctors don't? See, vet discount.
I get it.
Yeah,
The
what
old
the fuck, man? That's not fair.
because they prefer low-hanging fruit on a Monday. Always the 11th of the 11th. 11/11, not 9/11.
Well,
do you guys have any theories about Einstein's theories? Do you have any counter theories?
Yeah. First of all, my belief is that the speed of light is not constant, so it varies what the speed of light is going through. The speed of light is constant in a vacuum, but because light is made up of photons and also travels in waves and particles, it's affected by gravity, and so the speed of light is not constant. That's my only complaint about it. Other than that, I'm not smart enough to go into the deep science.
Wow, Ron is putting that cup down. He's mad now. He said gravity.
Yeah, so you pissed him off with the science talk.
Now, you have to keep in mind that most of our audience, when you say vacuum, they're thinking of that little thing that goes around the rug.
Right. And that is what I'm speaking of. When I say in a vacuum, I mean in a Dyson or a Shark or a Hoover or Eureka, but not a Kirby. Not a Kirby, because I think they're extinct. But
as long as you don't mean this vacuum of space, right? You know, space.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about that vacuum. No.
Well, because space is fake. It's flat Earth. It's the ocean above and below. You know how it works.
Yeah, flat Earth do not believe in flat Earth people. Do not believe in gravity. Gravity doesn't exist.
No, static electricity keeps us on the ground.
No, it's not that it doesn't exist. It's just a theory. It's just a theory of gravity. There's no proof of it.
It's a theory.
No, I've talked to enough flat earthers. They don't believe it exists. It doesn't exist.
No, it's true.
But wait, Ron is speaking. Ron is speaking. Let's take off our socks and listen to Ron.
There's also a lot of math to consider when you really think about the physics of it all.
I have 7 black guys that finish inside me at the truck stop, and I have 4 black guys that finish on my face behind the dumpster at Burger King. How many hard R's just made my day? That's what I call schlong division.
That's tasty.
Burger King, who were considering being sponsors, we do appreciate your dumpster. Your dumpster is. I used to go there for lunch every day to your dumpster.
Is the answer to that question 7?
Yes.
It's schlong division.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
If I have 7 black guys that finish inside me at the truck stop, and I have 4 black guys that finish on my face behind the dumpster at Burger King, how many hard R's just made my day? That's what I call schlong division.
It's 11. It's 11. It's 11 hard R's. It's 11. I figured it out.
You did?
Yep, it's 11 hard R's.
And you did it all. You did it all in your head without any paper and pen or anything.
But that's not fair. He already had his socks off, so he could use his toes.
Oh, very cool.
Hey, I've never been able to count on my toes.
You got to factor in that math to figure out this problem.
Well, you know you can't count on your legs. You know you can't count on your legs. I didn't know you couldn't count on your toes too. Your legs are so unreliable.
So on that guy just got back to me, that James Gregory. I said, because cowardly changing the post after 153 comments exposed you as being a silly fool, not the way to get respect for your ideas. Pathetic. He said it doesn't change anything. Of course it changes stuff. You took down your rebuttal of Einstein and put up this thing about, oh, you're all haters. Of course it changes the entire conversation. Now it looks like people are responding to you just calling them haters by saying that's not true, when people are responding to you saying Einstein was wrong and you're a fucking spray tech.
And I also don't know which theories about Einstein he's talking about where he's wrong. I mean, Einstein did more than just the theory of relativity.
Special relativity is what he was saying was wrong.
Okay, all right.
Because he knows about lasers because he works with mirrors and spray-on chrome.
Is this the same guy that said you can't trust Jew math?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't even know what you're talking about with that. Yeah, so
he may think that, but he hasn't said it yet.
No, I wasn't listening very closely again to the news this morning. That little 60 news in 60. Did you hear anything about any election stuff? No, he didn't even mention it. Right?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, you didn't hear anything?
No, most of the rumblings seems to be online about that.
Right.
That the election was rigged. There is some questions about numbers and shit not adding up and things like that.
Numbers not adding up. It's much more than that. And I am pretty convinced that at the very least, the Democratic Party and the people who were in charge, Joe Biden, Harris, all of them, were just incompetent in planning and being vigilant about protecting this kind of stuff. They were so worried about preventing another January 6th that they gave Elon Musk, who had a vested interest in the other party, contract for Starlink, his company, to tabulate the votes. Now that just on the basis of common sense just seems like a very stupid idea. And only in the 7 battleground states. He sent the whatever they call them, the kiosks, the Starlink platforms, to the 7 battleground states to tabulate votes. Which just it doesn't make any sense at all. Why would you have one person who has a vested interest in the outcome in his business responsible for that? Is a big part of it. And then he blew up the satellites the next day. He blew them up, took them out destroyed whatever evidence.
Okay, that doesn't.
Well,
none of that sounds right. I don't know. I don't know how true it is, but it doesn't sound right. It doesn't. It just doesn't sit. It doesn't. How did they talk about truthiness? It doesn't pass by truthiness test.
Right. Well, it kind of been verified by Musk's previous statements. He definitely agreed to that. Then you have Rogan saying that Dana White told him that Elon Musk gave him the results 4 hours before the polls, before the tabulations were sent into all the services. But that 4-hour lead is before all the polls were closed. Elon Musk already had the numbers correct 4 hours before. So all of this leads to a lot of suspicion at the very least. But yeah, Starlink was definitely.
I believe there was hanky panky, and I believe there was vote switching, but that's only because I know how it's possible. I just don't know who did it. Like I said, I've seen it, so I know it exists. And as far as I know, no one did anything to fix it. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of it sounds a lot of it doesn't track. The only thing that doesn't make sense is the blowing up of the satellites thing, which, I mean, if he did that, everyone would have seen that because they're surrounding the planet. So if he blew them all up, we all know.
No, they're not surrounding the planet.
No, they're all.
I think we would know. I think we would notice several hundred satellites blowing up.
Not 700, 2.
Well, even that
He's got more than 2 satellites up there, though.
The operative satellites are 2.
Yeah, if he blew those 2 up, I'm thinking there would be space debris, which could endanger the
There was.
satellites.
There's video of the space debris over Texas and Oklahoma.
How do we know that's? I mean, there's so much space debris up there. How do we know that's what that debris is from?
Because it was explosions. Oh, and they've been tracked. Those were this, and I don't think there's any denial. There hasn't been any denial that that's what happened.
So, of the Starlink satellites that are in orbit, of the 6,554 which are still in orbit, 6,499 are functional. Starlink satellites.
Yeah.
Now there's one. I think there's a problem with that, and that is when I used to work for a company. We'll call them DirecTV for lack of a better name, and they had some of their own satellites up there, and we were given charts as part of our training of the satellites that were up there and in geosynchronous orbit, and there were a number of blacks. There were a number of spots that were empty. And satellites that were not identified, and they were military satellites because we were not to know anything about their, where they were and stuff like that. And so, let's say he has 6,000 so and so satellites up there. I mean, that's a lot of fucking satellites for one person. But let's just say they're his. If he has defense contracts, some of those satellites wouldn't be accounted for, so to speak. You know, what I'm saying? Is I mean, I guess we could know they're there, just not where they are. So, okay, I'll take that back. We could know they're up there, but just not know where they are.
Yeah, because I mean, this makes sense that there's that many. I mean, anytime there's a disaster anywhere in the world, all he has to do is send the Starlink receivers, and they work. So,
yeah.
Good in theory, retard, but scary.
So Elon Musk, there is no because they both talked about it beforehand, and this is the point I'm making. To allow that to happen, Biden, Harris, the whole DNC, to allow that to be part of the system, it's just incompetent and negligent, and leads to where we are today. So I don't know how they are going to reconcile that. It did seem, as what Harris put out last night, that she's asking for contributions that could be used for recount. I don't know why they need money to maybe for court cases, but they're asking for money to start a recount. So it seems like she's heard some of the rumblings and wants to pursue that. I don't know, but it would seem that Biden, again, with his blanket immunity, could just order a recount without even having to do anything. So
he could, but he won't. He won't do that shit.
No, he won't do anything. That's it is what it is.
Lame duck.
Yeah. And
Oh,
so yeah, and so it looks like nothing's going to happen out of all this stuff. I definitely believe there was some degree of tampering, not just from the bomb threats, 67 bomb threats in different key locations, which is some of them from Russia and some of them domestic. Some of the calls were domestic and some of them came from Russia. You know what, that alone doesn't pass the sniff test as far as the validity of the results. It all just doesn't seem to make sense. But Rogan saying that Dana White told him at 11 p.m. Eastern time the results. Now, he got a phone call from Dana White saying it's over. These are the numbers, and turned out those numbers matched.
Yep, it was. They were all hanging out during the election, and he said, "Yeah, look, the results are in. I'm out," and said he dipped out.
Right.
Said that Elon had all the information, gave it to Dana, gave it to them, and dipped out. And I'm like, that. If that doesn't, how can that one statement right there? He showed me the results 4 hours before they ended. How does that alone not create some sort of, we need to look into the election, make sure everything's kosher, right? Because all Trump had to say was it was fun last time, and everyone looked into everything.
Stop. I won't go there. You cannot blame the Jews on this. You don't check to see if it's kosher. That's no. That they didn't have anything to do with this. Stop it. Just stop that right now. There's enough anti-Semitism in this country as it is. Stop it. Okay, just stop. I won't stand for that. Okay.
I won't stand for it either.
They came for my kosher friends, and I did nothing because I wasn't kosher. So I'm not.
So who was happier, Dana White that he won the election, or Dana White's wife?
We can't possibly know the answer to that.
I think that answer is simple. The answer is simple. Dana White's wife is very happy that he won.
I don't know. Well, let me ask James Gregory.
Feeling a little black and blue about it.
I have to ask James Gregory, the guy who knows better than Einstein, to figure this out. Hold on, let me see. James, can you tell me? So this comes down to Christopher Wray having the balls and initiative to kind of even just open the door. And people are saying, well, it's conspiracy theories. It's not a conspiracy theory to just look into. I think all this stuff definitely warrants an investigation. Considering the fact that in 2020, I don't know how many exactly recounts there were, court cases there were, all was saying...
At least 63.
What?
At least 63, because Trump lost 62.
64 court cases, but I'm talking about recounts. I don't know how many recounts.
Okay. I just remember. Okay, yeah. Never mind.
But to say, all I'm suggesting is they look into the investigation. Send Christopher Wray, send somebody to go talk to Joe Rogan, talk to Dana White, say exactly. You want to repeat this for us on the record and say exactly what went down?
Now that's different. Yeah, I would not. Because people will talk shit not under oath.
Right.
Get them under oath. That was one of my pet peeves when people during hearings and people would say, well, Trump aide said this, the Trump aide said that, and then the Trumpers would say, yeah, but Trump says he didn't say it. I said, well, let him say it under oath. There's
the whole totality of everything, all that comes together. Remember that there are probably 13 or 15, I think, cases of Trump saying on camera, we don't need your votes. We got all the votes we need.
Right.
And then he said, between Musk and I, we have our little secret. We don't have to worry about the vote count. What do you mean? What little secret? And it's just like it's a gang that couldn't shoot straight. If you got a little secret and you're trying to rig an election, you don't come out. But he's just so fucking giddy. He couldn't control himself. He's got to tell it to the whole world. Oh, we're gonna.
And also he has this theory that, well, if I was going to commit a crime, would I admit to the crime in public?
Yeah,
I'm not that stupid. And then people go, see, he wouldn't admit to it. Yeah, so it's like I said, I admit there's a lot of stuff that at least that doesn't sit well with me. But I'm just one of 340 million citizens, you know, with
But
good hair.
if
What can I
Ray
do?
now, because Ray, keep in mind that Ray is a Republican that was handpicked by Donald Trump, but he's also
Right.
on the enemy list, and
Yes.
so he might be also already in the retreat mode. He might not get permission from Merrick Garland, who just seems to be, uh, I don't know, in the tank. It's because he was just sleeping on his thumbs for the last 4 years. I don't think Ray has the balls or determination to even question anybody about this. He's just gonna he's looking for a place in Mexico right now.
I'm very curious how the level of incompetence is going to be this time, because last time they they had apparently like the quality people in the Republican Party. Now this
Yeah.
time they won't, so the incompetence should be off the charts.
Yeah. He couldn't wait to throw Nikki Haley and Mike Pompeo under the bus and say, they're not going to be part of my administration. After somebody said they sold their soul to him. No, they didn't. They never had a soul to begin with.
Yeah,
But
they didn't have a soul. They had ambition. There's a difference.
But it's got to be pretty frustrating because Nikki Haley went from campaigning against him and saying he could never serve as president again to kissing his ass and saying fully endorsing him to get the fuck out. I used you, now get out, bitch. It's got to be a little.
And I'm not even going to leave any cash on the nightstand for you.
Right. Now
No cash for you.
I have gotten the date wrong in two different ways about the sentencing. According to Midas Touch, it's tomorrow in New York City. Have you heard any updates on that? Because I thought it was the 18th. Then somebody said the 26th.
December 7th.
Huh?
If you're talking about the case where
Marshawn, yeah,
I think is that the one under Chutkin? Marshawn? No, Judge was the judge. Okay, I'm talking about the Jack Smith one is December 2nd. The Marshawn one I thought was November 26th. Last I heard
right.
of it.
According to Midas Touch, it's tomorrow.
No, Midas Touch is wrong.
I don't know. They're a fucking team of lawyers. And very good lawyers. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
but I'm
know.
black.
Huh?
But I'm black, so
I'm not sure we haven't had that verified.
And not only am I black, but I have a birthday coming up. It trumps all that shit. Fuck the lawyers. I don't trust lawyers. Okay, lawyers. There's like 3 lawyers I trust, and even them, I'm skeptical of my trust for them.
All right, talk amongst yourselves while I Google what the Trump sentencing date is.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, because I got lost in the trying to keep track of his sentencing dates.
I know I got it wrong twice, or I might have gotten it wrong. Now you're saying I got it right one of those times because one of those times I did say the
26.
Reuters.
Maybe.
But I thought even the one on the 26th was postponed because they wanted to compare the findings based on the July 2nd Supreme Court decision that Trump had limited immunity, and he just wanted to reevaluate their case to make sure that what they charged him with and what he was found guilty of is going to pass the smell test under the new guidelines of the Supreme Court. And so I thought that was on hold, even though it was for the 26th. And Jack,
according to Reuters, it's the 26th. So according to Politico, it won't happen at all.
Okay, well, they may be right, but that's like an opinion, I think.
Yeah. Probably a good opinion, though.
Hey, just enjoy the suffering, fellas. That's all you have to do. Enjoy the suffering.
That's kind of where I'm at, man. I'm like I told my buddy earlier. I'm the music on the Titanic on the way down.
I'm not going to enjoy any kind of "I told you so"s or any of this kind of stuff.
No.
It's not looking good for. He's already. I don't know if you follow any of the videos he puts out. He's been putting out.
No, I don't.
Because he gets off the shitter and just yells at the camera about what he's going to do. He's already said on day one he's going to put out an executive order declaring marriage between a man and woman, negating all the gay marriages in the United States.
See, now he can do that, but it's not law, and it doesn't trump the Supreme Court decision. If the Supreme Court has already said that it's legal, his executive order will be challenged. It won't mean a damn thing. He can. That's the beautiful thing about executive orders. It looks great on paper and looks great for his base. It says he signed an executive order, then he can say I signed it. He could sign. Biden could sign an executive order tomorrow saying that all blacks are superior and they should get reparations. Okay, great. He signs it. Somebody's going to challenge it. It's going to go through the courts, and it's going to say, Biden, it's nice you signed that executive order, but guess what? You can't do it.
Yeah, but you keep coming back to this Supreme Court. Who owns the Supreme Court? Who's got them completely in their pocket?
I do today.
Yeah,
because they don't want to fuck with me.
No.
I'm in a bad mood. The Supreme Court does not want to fuck with me, especially Clarence Thomas, because I do not like black people that sell their souls just because they got theirs and they don't want anybody else to get theirs. No, forget that. No.
What about black people that sell soul food?
I love them. Although they're killing us. They're killing their own people with salt and
They
lard,
are.
and they're killing us.
But that's such a good way to die.
Yeah,
though,
that's such a good way to die. It's like, yeah,
give
you
me
die
some
happy.
greens, some black-eyed peas, some cornbread. I'm ready to go.
You die like an otter. You die just like an otter. You're floating on your back, rubbing your belly, going.
Yep.
And
the whole time you're like, this is gonna end me, but you don't care. You just keep going.
That's right.
According to CNN, it's November 12th, which is tomorrow.
CNN.
Well, fuck. That's a wider range of dates.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why we can't get the date. Like one date. I've heard the 18th. I've heard the 26th, and now I've heard tomorrow. And last night I heard tomorrow. There was a Midas Touch video, and they were talking about the sentencing being Tuesday morning in New York City.
So there's no piece of paper somewhere that in a courthouse with a schedule on it that says
it has
Trump
to be.
here?
I don't know. That's the point I'm getting at. Why can't we get it? Why can't we just get a confirmed date? And it seems easy enough, right? But all different sources are giving different versions of the date. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Like, they don't forget about my child support hearings, but they can forget about the biggest case in history right now. What the fuck?
I don't think it's the biggest case in history, especially if it gets thrown out, and that's what people are saying.
And it's the biggest non-case in history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's important right now. Yes.
But so I would think if it were really going to be tomorrow, there would be some kind of media buzz about it. Even I don't know. I just don't know. I think Fox News would be complaining about it. They would be talking about it, but they'd be complaining about it, right? No?
You'd think.
Yeah. The other part of that, speaking of like what would make sense, if you think about who Donald Trump is and what
I try not to, but go ahead.
What he represents, he's cheated at every contest his entire life. To think that he wouldn't cheat in the most important one, the one that's going to keep him out of jail, it's kind of naive to think. Well, he didn't. So
he cheated. He cheated with his college test, having paid people to take his was it SATs or his college exams. It paid people for that. He cheats on his golf scores. He cheats on his wives. Nothing means anything to him except for his own.
He has never not cheated. There is not one instance where he's not cheated. So how could anybody just think, well, he wasn't going to try and cheat, at least in the one that's the most important contest of his life? I don't know.
No, it's kind of like I'm going to call it a joke, although it's not a joke. Because it actually happened. I just tell it like it's a joke. When my mother was dying.
Oh, that's a funny joke.
Yeah. When my mother was in the hospital, my mother was dying. She had a few. She only had a few weeks left to live. And I went to her and I said, I just spoke to my mother and my nephew aside. I got everybody else out of the room and I just wanted to talk to the three of them. And I said, Mom, you said to us that you would do anything for us. You'd do anything for your kids. And she says, I would do anything for my kids. And I said, okay, we need you to make a dying declaration that Bill Cosby raped you. So that I said, because it's a dying declaration, you'll be gone. We won't release it until after you're gone. You won't suffer any consequences, and we'll be taken care of. And my mother goes, no, I'm not doing it. I said, what are you talking about? You said you'd do anything for us. Apparently you don't love us. And my mother says, Bill Cosby and I were never alone in a room together. I said, we can put you alone in a room with Bill Cosby. And that's when I looked at my nephew and I said, tell her. And so it goes, Bill Cosby and his grandson were in the same graduating class. So they were all at the graduation together. I said, Bill Cosby was there for 4 hours. I said, do you think Bill Cosby could be in a room with women for 4 hours and one of them doesn't get raped? I said, all we're saying is that this time it was you. That's it. And my mother looked at me and said, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. Once again, I tend to agree with your mother that there's something.
Get out.
Very wrong with you. First of all,
you're excused.
A dying declaration is fine, but then you would have to take the stand and say what you know for a fact, and all you know is that you made a dying declaration that you'd be perjuring yourself unless you said this, that you told her to make. So
no.
You would have to take the stand and say, because
sure,
you're the person who wrote the dying declaration. And if you left that key element out of it, that would be perjury.
No, because that's very simple. I would tell it something like this. Although now, since it didn't happen, I guess it doesn't really matter. But I said, look, when my father raped my mother didn't want to talk about it. And we encouraged her to talk about it. We encouraged her. So all I was doing was trying to get encouraging my mother to not take this lying down again. This time to speak up for herself.
If you're out there listening and you ever you ever need a witness, just be mindful that the defendant has just copped to the fact that he's an unreliable, lying, perjuring, non.
You didn't hear me lie. You did not hear me lie just now. That was what I just said.
You encourage your mother to lie.
That's different. That's different. I can encourage my mother to lie because my mother had no standards when it came to lying. Okay. Look, my mother. It's a known fact. It's a known fact. My mother was a liar. Okay, everybody knows my mother's lie. She told us about Santa Claus. She told us about the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny. Lies. So yes, my mother was a liar. Now it's just
it has absolute relevance into your reliability as a witness. So we'll just leave it at that.
Because I was half raised by a liar, they think I'm a liar too.
No, because you encouraged her to make this dying declaration that you knew was not true.
I encouraged her to accept her nature. That was her nature. My mother was a liar, okay? Right. And I've got tons of evidence. It's not just the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and Easter Bunny.
You encouraged her to lie.
Like when I was little, my mother says, I don't have any favorite children. She lied. She had 2 favorite kids, and neither one of them were me.
Okay? They weren't even hers. They were 2 favorite kids, somebody else's kids.
Yes, that's right. See? So yes. I proudly proclaim that my mother was a liar. And for those of you
who should get her on the program. Can we get her on the program?
Dig her up. She's probably not even dead. She probably lied about that too.
Right.
Well, when's the next psychic coming on?
What?
When's the next
psychic coming on?
Well, I don't. Guests are. We don't have a guest tomorrow. We have some guests, interesting guests. Friday, I think, will be an interesting one. But next week is wide open. We don't have any guests next week at all.
Next week, if there's any quote psychics or channelers that can hail my mother, hail from hell, whatever it is. If you can do that, you're welcome to come on the show, and I will pay your fee.
And what my father's dying words were, right? You know about that.
Yeah, your father's dying words were, just go off my throat, Matt. I can't breathe.
Similar, very similar. Before he got me engaged, because we were standing around. My ex-wife was not my ex-wife yet. She was just my girlfriend. And he said he wanted me to marry her. Like, this is like 3 minutes before he died. And then everybody, oh, they're engaged. Wait, what? So I would have wanted to kill him at that moment. But he said to me, he said, Matthew. I was like, yeah, Dad. I sat down on his mattress. I said, yeah, Dad, what is it? And he looked at me. He said, get off the bed. And then he died. And then he died. Those were his last words to me. Get off the bed. Could have been get off my throat. I heard get off the bed. Anyway.
How insufferable are these Karens going to be next year?
Which ones?
Just they're going to be back. They're going to be back in full force, except they're going to be worse this time.
What do you mean?
Well, which Karens though?
The Trump Karens. What do you think it'll be? January before we get the first really racist video? Maybe the day that he's put in office.
I've seen hundreds of them since election night. Guys walking into restaurants and just throwing all sorts of ethnic slurs around, getting beat up for it.
You know what?
They let him out of the cage. What? You know what? And then you're quiet. You're like a fucking Willie. You're like a half a fucking Willie.
Half a Willie. Wow.
You know what? You know what? I don't know if you know this about me, but you know what? What?
That's going to be his legacy on the show. That whenever you need to insult somebody, you're going to just drag his name up just to insult them.
Well, he is.
Regardless of what the insult is. It's like, you know what I don't like about black people? You remind me of Willie. You know, something like that. Just whatever.
Definitely.
Which is a C, and we'll see stands for colored. That's right.
Yeah. All right. What?
I don't even remember now.
You don't even remember. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know this about me, but I will say that, you know.
About me. I just can't remember what it is now.
Yeah.
Good.
That's the most smile in like a week.
So if I may, I probably should not have waited this long. There was a rowdy runway show on Friday evening. You had a flower stealing grave robber on the show. And I saw some pictures of the place. The place looks like a shoebox. Like it's very long and narrow, right? It's not like wide out. I did not realize that about the Church of Satire, Church of Sarcasm, as I call it. How did the show go?
After you run, because you were the host, and the flowers that you stole were on display.
Were they?
I think he was wearing them.
No, the show went good. It was a fun time. I got to be manic and have some fun with it. So it was good instead of just doing regular stand-up. And
ticket sales. I want to know ticket sales. How many people?
700. It was a good turnout.
Wow.
I had to give up my seat. I had to give up my seat to a customer.
Wow. How many does the venue hold? Like
I thought it held like 60, but I think the official it may be 50. I don't know.
And this is a place that does not serve, right? They don't serve alcohol or
right.
Do they serve food?
Right.
Food?
Snackies, I think, like candy maybe.
You can get food. You can get food delivered from the place right next door.
Yeah, you can get food delivered. You can get food delivered. You can bring your own food. They have like soda pop and candy things, maybe chips. I don't know.
So they make their own. The only money they make is from their cut of the admission. That the club, the only money they make on the night is their share of the ticket sales. Yes.
Right. The weirdest thing is like right next door they also have an ice cream parlor that's part of the place, and you would think that during the show that they would serve ice cream, say not serve it, but maybe it's a dessert or something.
At least encourage sales of it.
Yeah. So we'll bring you tell us what you want, we'll bring it over. Like maybe have like a little menu of what flavors, like but they're not like a broad thing, but like 2 scoops, 1 scoop in a cup, and that's it. And,
Yeah,
and
it's none of my business, but I'm just
but-
trying to wrap my head around how they pay the overhead for the building, because they're building, if they don't own it outright, and even if they do own it outright, they have to pay taxes on it. But it's got to have some rent attached to the building, unless. So the ice cream place pays for the rent or the
No,
overhead.
I don't think that makes enough money to pay for the rent. I don't think so either. Now, I honestly I do not know. I didn't ask about their business arrangements, because and they struggle from time to time. But
Yeah,
good
for them, and that they're able to stay in business and do comedy as a labor of love, obviously, because they're not
right.
Most venues are in the business of selling alcohol. That's their number one profit source. And then they're selling dinners too. But for them to not be selling any of that, do they even sell soft drinks or anything? I mean,
yeah, they do sell soda pop.
He said soda pop and candy.
Wow.
Now, and I think basically they have plenty of room in the back, and they're going to add like 150 seats. And so they're trying to get through this period so they can have eventually like 150 seat venue, and that I think will make them a little bit more lucrative. But they're doing those improvements themselves.
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, see, and this is where some of the previous guy who had that place as a comedy club, he was doing improvements himself as well. And I have a lot of skill when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I volunteered, to help him out, and it was like, okay, sure. And then he sells it or gets rid of it, loses it, or somehow the current proprietor has it, but they don't need my help, don't want my help. So
it's a very strange business model they have going over there. Now, I wish them success, but business is an important part of the arts. If you can't make it profitable, sooner or later it's gonna fall. And I don't wish that on them, but it seems like you gotta have a business plan. I don't know. Well, what do I care? It's not in my neighborhood.
Yeah, because like they have because even they have like a sold out show, and the tickets are like $20 or $25 for a sold out show. There's still like 50 seats, so that's what, $10. Well, no, the 50 times.
Now you're not still planning on going to Jackie's house on your birthday, are you?
No, because that was all contingent.
You're not going to be there.
Yeah, that was all contingent upon working it out with you, because I don't know him. I don't even know his address.
All right.
Okay.
I think it's pretty much like it's public knowledge. It's on his website, I believe. I'm encouraging people to go up to his house.
I'm no. I say I don't. First of all, I do not show up at anybody's house uninvited. I don't even show up at my own house uninvited. I called my wife.
Didn't he say no? I'm sorry. No, I just took this the wrong way, but I think he did say, "Come on out to the house. I got plenty of room."
Yeah. But I learned from you that apparently people in New York say things like that, and they don't mean it. Like, yeah, we'll hang out, we'll do stuff. I'll perform for you, you perform for me, and y'all don't mean it. You're just being polite. I'm not like that. If I invite you to my house, you invite me to my home. So I don't understand that New York state of mind.
Well, what you're referring to was Steve Young, who I put that out there as for him to contact me about it. I didn't say we'll just anytime you feel like it, but I was sincere about that. If he contacts me and we set something up. But I wasn't just like, yeah, anytime you want, just come on and let's do a show together, whatever. Whenever you feel like it, if you're on the bowl and you're about to wipe your ass and say, you know what, I'm going to go do a show with Matt Nappo, that ain't going to happen.
No, because you got to wash your hands first. That is so. No, you
I've done
can't touch a
shows with people who
guitar
have not
straight
washed
off the
their hands.
toilet. You got to
No.
wash your hands first.
No, I don't. I disagree. Most people I work with don't.
You must have the stinkiest guitar straight. Oh, you didn't say that you don't wash your hands. You said the people you work with.
Right.
Okay, because if you don't wash your hands, I do not want to smell your guitar straight.
I've never washed my hands in my entire life. Never.
Oh no.
Kev's
See,
Comedy Club podcast says Jackie means that he's a tremendous host.
Maybe he's a tremendous host to white people. We don't know. I don't know how many black people's been in this house. I don't know. That's why I need an invitation, or at least go with someone who has an invitation as a +1 or +3/5. But I at least would like some kind of reassurance.
Who's Nassim Harriman? Do you guys know? I never heard of him. Is he anybody?
No idea who that is.
No.
Bear Love earlier said Nassim Harriman would be sweet on Joe Rogan or on Macho. I don't think you really. I don't think we should be naming Joe Rogan or Matt Show in the same breath ever.
And first of all, and his name sounds. I'm sorry, you're calling him a hairy man. That sounds racist.
Harriman.
I'm sorry.
Harriman.
Hairy man. Well, we don't know about a spell check. A hairy man. No,
right.
That's no. So
I think he spelled it wrong, but I think he's talking about physicist.
Why you a hater, man? You are definitely a Willie. Everything about you is Willie. Your microphone, your Wi-Fi.
See, now you sound like him. Okay, before I was just about to defend you until you made that comment. Now you sound almost exactly like him.
Yeah.
I can't defend you now. That's it.
I don't know what's going on with my audio. I don't understand.
Ron, it's up to you. Ron, if you want to defend him, you can.
I don't know, but what Wi-Fi?
I can't.
You're a hater. Oh, that's me coming through the headphones over there. I thought there was a medical emergency somewhere in my house. Where was I? I forgot what I was going to say. It happens.
Way to go.
Call man, the New Year's Eve I will have $10,000 by borrowing. Oh yeah, that was the Willie thing. No, last year at this time, Willie, and it was actually a month from now. But Willie said by January 15th he was going to have $30,000, and he was so sure that he was going to borrow $10,000 and give it to charity. So he would be $10,000 in debt. Basically, borrow $10,000 from somebody and give it away, because that's how sure he was. And while he was making the statement, I was like confused. Like, January 15th? Where is this date coming up? How are you going to have $30,000 by January 15th? And he said, Facebook. And that was my response. Just what you guys just did. Huh? Facebook?
All right.
And it took me 3 weeks to just explain to him that it sounds like he might be buying into like some kind of internet scam. It doesn't. And you don't know about the Facebook rewards program. And then I looked into it, and there were thousands of people who said they wasted months and all this time and got like $15 after 3 months of 24/7 slave work for Facebook, trying to get them more audience or stickiness and all that kind of stuff.
Does that sound any better at all?
Yes,
okay.
It sounds better. Except for the part where you sound like this.
I don't sound like that though. I don't understand what that's coming from.
Oh, you're a hater. I don't sound like that, you hater.
You sound like you're overmodulating. At least to me, it sounds like you're overmodulating.
Well, I've been messing with the audio settings. Let me turn off automatically adjust mic volume. Maybe turn off echo cancel.
Now you have nothing.
Now you have nothing. That's good.
Oh, now
exactly how we like you.
You sound like you're talking. It sounds like you're talking into a brown paper bag, and half of the bag is filled with glue, and the other half is filled with magic marker ink.
That's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now you've gone. You've totally turned it off. You're just like you're like the most technically inept, big fucking loser I've ever seen. You're just a big fucking loser.
Is that better?
You can't come back. I could fucking insult you all day long and nobody's gonna hear your comebacks.
How about now?
No.
No, but here it's like your echo is louder than you are. Okay?
Yeah, the echo is louder than me. Jesus.
And you know what kind of science you have to be like violating in order for your echo to be louder than you are. By definition, the echo should be softer.
Call the hater. I'm getting a phone call. I'm not answering that. I'm looking forward to seeing John's crazy socks. No. How about now is no? The answer is always no. Whatever you say, the answer is no.
I am against it.
Right.
Whatever it is, I am against it.
Looking forward to seeing John's crazy socks over at Nassau County PAL. We work with John, great people. I can't wait. He's going to be here in a few minutes. The idea, listen, to sell one thing, I get it. You have to, niche down. But I never saw. Have you ever seen a store that only sells socks?
Bombas. Well, actually, they spread out. They started off as socks, and now they're doing socks, underwears, and T-shirts. But they started out as just socks.
And what's the name of them?
Bombas. Bombas.
Never heard of it.
And apparently, their socks are like knitted, so there's no seam in the toe, and they're like customized so that like they have like quarter size socks as opposed to the socks. The socks aren't just like their socks are more like shoes as far as sizing goes.
Because, back in the day of WNYG Mind Dog Radio, WNYG 1440 AM, it's ending tall and proud. We had fake sponsors, Larry's Ladle Land, where they sold only ladles. And they were right next door to Stewie's Spatula City, where they sold only spatulas. You could get big spatulas, manly spatulas, little girly wussy spatulas to kind of squash your weenie on a grill, ow, and stuff like that. So we had fake sponsors that only sold one thing. And I thought that was just absurd that you would only sell socks or whatever it is, spatulas, ladles. But I guess, because you got to have. What are you counting on? This is we'll ask him. But where did the traffic come from? If I need socks, if I buy socks, it's usually an impulse buy while I'm buying pants or underwear in like a department store. I might as well get some extra socks while I'm here. That kind of thing. Or at Walmart, you get your bag of white socks. I never left the house thinking, I'm going out to get socks.
Well, I do. My socks are not impulse buys. My socks are like, okay, because there's only so much room in my drawer. So
can we see? Sure. Can you show us your socks? See, you're chickening out.
No, I'm just trying to see how I do this. Because if I do my phone, it's going to get crappy reception because we're on StreamYard. My phone and StreamYard don't play well together, which is why I'm in here on my computer.
Well, we are probably on the 22nd of November, if I'm still alive. Probably going to be making a shift. StreamYard just keeps raising the prices and not adding anything of value. So I'm thinking about going to one stream or restream. I'm seeing the bottom of a shoe.
Ooh, hey.
Well, what does it say? It's got a brand name on the bottom there? Or is that just
Hanes.
Can't read it.
Hanes.
All right, pull it down.
and those are little ankle socks. They go right about the ankle bone,
Now, yesterday, speaking of your phone issues, yesterday church was a fucking disaster.
It was.
But I have a question for Stephen. Stephen, have you ever met the Rev?
I have not.
You have not. See, because the Rev made a declaration yesterday that he was using Stephen's Twitter account because my friend Stephen, now he's not your friend. You've never even met him.
Well, we have a few degrees of separation, but GD met with me and asked on his behalf. So I was like, sure, any friend of GD's is a friend of mine. So it's fair.
Right. Good coverage there.
See, Matt, you're trying to start shit where there was no shit to start.
Oh, I think there was shit to start.
I don't
No,
think
there
there
was no shit to
was.
start.
No.
No,
there
so
was no
we
shit
have
to
a
start.
preacher man, the son of a preacher man, a preacher man lying to the public
No, he
about who
wasn't
his friends
lying.
were.
He was using friend like you do in New York, you know, or Facebook. See,
No,
the word,
first of
because of,
all,
thanks to Facebook, the word friend has been redefined to be anybody anywhere in the world.
let me just address your comment. It's Carl. Want to say hello to Carl? Hello, Carl.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, I thought you were. I just saw the top of the head. I thought he was the sock guy.
Well, no, that would yeah, whatever.
I thought he was the sock guy checking in.
I did too for a second, honestly. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, what I want to say.
Top of the morning to you, my lad. I'm
You
sorry,
made-
that's the wrong country.
You made me forget what I was going to say.
Sorry, my Alexa.
What are you listening to there, Carl?
That was my Alexa saying what it's connected to. I fucking know it's connected to my Mac because I fucking just connected it. Hey Alexa, why is Jeff Bezos gay?
He's not.
No answer. It never answers those questions.
Because he's not. He's got like a hot young girlfriend, right? He ditched his middle-aged wife for a hot young. He traded up, as we say in the business.
Carl, I was gonna ask you because I got you had messaged me yesterday, and then I'd gotten busy and I'd missed your messages, and I came back to some craziness. Were you intoxicated? Are you okay?
No,
you
that never happens, and that's not why I'm in sunglasses at 3 p.m.
Okay, because the messages I got were, "Why are the trains out of time? Dad, I hacked into NASA and shit in the bath, but here's how to beat the casino." Now, the last time I got messages like that, somebody was being arrested.
Gov's Comedy, I'm assuming this is Tony saying this because of the PAL stuff, because Tony's very active in the PAL. You guys even know what PAL stands for?
The Palestinian armed labor movement or something.
Paid acting lawyer.
Close. It's close. Police with a lip. Police athletic league. That's what.
Okay.
So
because also there's a PAL also has a meaning in audio, I think. Well, in the computer stuff, PAL. I couldn't remember what that was either.
I'm not. I was not questioning whether they do great business. I'm just curious about the business model because socks seems to be, to me, it's not something like, let's stop in the sock store.
Yeah.
I mean, the liquor store. Yes, I could see.
I mean, honestly, all of my socks have been impulse buys for the most part.
Right. That's, it's not necessarily, I don't know, like impulse buys, but if you're out there, you're already buying underwear, you're already buying shirts, whatever. And, I'm going to need socks too. And a tie. It's like a tie. Like, can you imagine? Yeah. I'm sure there are probably just ties, stores that just sell ties.
I don't know.
Yeah, but they also sell, but they don't just sell ties. They sell ties and bondage stuff. So, because the ties have multiple uses. Along with scarves, they have ties, scarves.
Well, let's see. What time is it? We're expecting him in 2 minutes. Hope he's. Maybe I should check my email and see if he's had problems connecting. I'm not seeing him here.
Well, I've never seen him and Carl in this at the same time, so it could be.
There you go. I just heard a click, a boop, a pop. Yes.
Yes, and they're both there. I can see the tops of two heads.
All right.
And I've never seen the tops of their heads before, so it could be two other heads that I've never seen before.
All right. Carl, you're hanging for the sock talk, or you?
I will watch, but I'll get out because I have too many people on screen. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. See you. We have no guest tomorrow, so come back. You'll be the guest tomorrow. Be the guest tomorrow.
Woo! Okay.
All right. Bye.
There goes the neighborhood.
All right. Well, the neighborhood was already gone. This is time to. I'm making room for them. Where are they? Oh, they've moved. You see how when Carl left, they moved in the bottom row?
Yeah.
John and Mark X Cronin. What's the X stand for? Xavier? That's all I could think of. What possible middle name could start with X?
Xander.
What?
Xylophone.
Xylophone.
Xander.
Mark Xylophone Cronin.
Xanadu.
My cousin Zocco came from Upper Volta, so it makes sense.
Volta? I don't even know. Can you find it on a map?
Upper Volta is in Africa.
Yeah,
very
it's right
good.
next. It's right next. It's right above Lower Volta, and beside adjacent Volta.
And I think
You don't
it's
know
one
anything about your African.
here
You
in
don't
the
know anything
U.S.
about
we call it
African material.
110 Volta, but in Europe they call it 220 Volta.
Oh,
see,
wow. Talk about low hanging fruit, guys.
That's not
Jeez.
low hanging fruit. You have to
That
you
is
have to know
absolutely
something about.
shocking. That is absolutely shocking how low that fruit was hanging.
I know.
That wasn't low hanging fruit. That was
That
low hanging.
felt pretty low.
Mark and John and Mark X Cronin are the father and son team that created John's Crazy Socks. Now, these are not just socks, by the way. They're crazy socks. They're
I
certifiably
don't even think the socks like being called crazy. I think they like being called
mentally
sanity
ill.
challenged. No, sanity
Unstable.
challenged.
Yeah. John's Crazy Socks, a social enterprise with a mission to spread happiness. I'm feeling a little happy already. Are you? Are you feeling a little happy? You getting a happy vibe here?
I'm so happy.
They bootstrapped their business into now, because if you got boots on, nobody's going to see your socks. I'm just bootstrapped their business into the world's largest sock store. Can you say that 3 times fast? John is not only a business owner, but he has Down syndrome. Every day, John and Mark show what people with differing abilities can do. They're here now. Let's talk to them. Let's talk socks. Good morning, John and Mark.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, with John and Mark. Which is John? Which is Mark?
Introduce us. I'm Sean. This is Mark. This is my partner.
Okay.
And what's the X for?
Socks.
John's Crazy Socks. What's our mission?
Very having it.
And we have to fit in. You know, we're going to fit in well because we're a couple of knuckleheads selling socks, and we
Shouldn't it be John's Knucklehead Socks then?
We're with the Knucklehead Show here.
Yeah.
I said, but as soon as you introduce knuckles into socks, they don't know where to wear them. It's like, are they for my hand or are they for my feet? So you can't put knuckles in socks because people are stupid. You have to narrow things down so that stupid people understand what your socks are for. Well, it's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. For the first year I had them, I was trying to put them on my feet.
Yeah.
We like the idea of people putting them on their hands because then we'll expand our market.
Before we get too deep into this sock conversation, I just want to let people know they can go to johnscrazysocks.com and find out more about exactly what the biggest sock store on the planet does. Now, I'm assuming because I saw the address in Farmingdale near where I used to be a marketing director there by
before
County
the
Boulevard.
restraining order.
Is this a physical store where people walk in, or is it just an online offering?
Right now, we only sell online. We are in retail stores. We sell to other businesses, but we're only online. We don't have a physical store, except once a year, we throw our warehouse open for a big party and warehouse sale on our anniversary. So if you're around on Saturday, December 7th.
We're having our open house. I think it'll be an 8th annual.
Come on down.
It's really fun.
December 7th, you say? You know, that's a day that will live in infamy as
not this party.
the day what was his name?
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. No, I was thinking the Emperor. That was the day he washed his socks, right? December
was that Ito? Now, what's the X stand for? And does each of you have an X, or is it just Mark that has the X?
This is curious, like X.
Right, I heard you talk. My parents were big fans of Malcolm X. No, it's X stands for Xavier.
Wow.
I'm a good Catholic boy, and I use it so as not to besmirch the other Mark Cronins.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Now, socks. How many different variations of socks? How many?
We have 4,000 different kinds of socks.
Are any of them just white or just black? Like regular? That's what I have. Most of my socks. If I open my sock drawer, I'm probably going to see just black and white. I'm not going to see anything crazy. Do you sell any like regular guy socks?
They're not all crazy socks in the sense of wild and blaring, but we want to up your sock game. We're coming to help you. Don't just be wearing plain white socks and plain black socks.
Wow. Now, what drove you to get into the sock business? Well, I mean, did you have a passion for socks? I mean,
he did, but what started this? You come back with us in the fall of 2016, and where were you, buddy?
I was at Huntington High School. I'm gonna be my last year of school.
So John was in his last year of school, and like everybody else, trying to figure out what comes next.
Right.
And what were you looking at?
I look at job, program, and school. I can't find crayons I don't like.
Now, John happens to have Down syndrome, and this is an unfortunate reality. There just aren't enough opportunities for people with different abilities. I know this is a good feel-good show, but only 1 in 5 Americans with a disability are employed. It's awful.
Wow.
But John,
I think you just changed that because there's 6 here, right? So now it's 1 in 6. So the odds are getting better now.
But John here is a natural entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
You didn't see a job you wanted. What did you say?
I said I want 21. I want to make one. I told my partner I will go bed with him. And I found us up together.
So it was his idea to start a business. And after a couple of other ones that we could talk about of ideas, you're the one that said socks.
I did.
Why socks?
Why socks? It's fun. It's colorful. It's crazy. And always let me be me. I want to create socks my whole life.
We used to drive around looking for these socks for John.
Wow.
So we figured if he loved them that much, surely other people would too.
Now, see, my theory was that this was based on the fact that dryers are known to steal left socks, and if you could keep making your own socks, then you would have a constant supply of socks that your dryer was losing. Or your places where, or
secret cabal of sock companies and dryer companies that make that happen.
Right. It's a cabal. It's a cabal, I tell you.
I knew it.
Now, also the theory was that my socks are disappearing, but showing up at your place, and you were just rebranding my stolen socks and selling them back to me. It's like, where are my left socks going? I need more socks, and then I'm buying my own socks back, and I'm getting these socks and going, they smell familiar. I think these are my socks. No.
It does hold costs down.
Yeah, it does hold costs down. No overhead,
now,
just on the feet.
Bold claims require bold evidence. Now, the largest sock store, I don't know if it says in the world, right? Does it say in the world?
In the world.
World's largest sock store. How do you go about verifying that? And has anybody ever challenged you to, yeah, I got a bigger sock?
No one has challenged us because no one comes close to the choices that we have. We're not out selling Walmart and Target, or at least not yet. But nobody comes close. We've gone out and surveyed other places. We've counted. You guys may know this. When we went out to see how many different sock stores there were, there's exactly 1 gazillion sock stores.
Wow.
But nobody has the choice we have, and nobody does what we do.
That's
Now, your sock sizes, are they equivalent to like shoe sizes, or are they like, because in the old way of doing sock sizes was like, this sock fits feet from 10 to 13, and this one does 13 to 15. And so how are your sock sizes compared to the standard there?
The sock sizes, you're absolutely right. That's the way people normally did it. And there's still, like, think of it as women's, men's socks. And we're moving away from that to sizes. So there's medium, large, extra large. We have looked at socks by shoe size. I mean, a couple of people have tried that, but it's not worth doing, and people don't care because the difference between a size 7 foot and a size 9 foot is not much, and your socks will adjust.
Now, I want to ask you about marketing because influencing marketing. It occurs to me, I remember Steve Martin being on the Letterman show, and he had a beef with Martin Short about, because they go in to sit in the chair and their socks are showing, and they wear like crazy socks. And Steve Martin was really adamant that he wanted to be known as the sock guy. Have you thought about any kind of like celebrity influencers in the sock world? Because it does seem like there are several celebrities who are really they want to be known for coming on talk shows with crazy socks. Have you thought about any or reached out to any of these people? In
This is his way of saying that I'm available. He's
exactly. That's where I was going with this. Thank you.
We'll have to see how your ankles look, but yes, we've been very fortunate with a lot of media coverage and some viral events. We have many celebrities who wear the socks. Most famous probably was when John, you became sock buddies with who?
Former President George H.W. Bush.
George H.W. Bush, the president, was wearing and tweeting out his socks. And there was what became a famous moment when Barbara Bush passed away. He and the family asked to wear socks to honor her commitment to literacy. So the day of her funeral, that was broadcast nationally, he didn't talk to anybody, didn't talk to media. The only thing he did was tweet out a picture of his socks.
I was just thinking of leaving the wrong side of the coffin door open, just the sock part. People,
but some of the people, right? Your buddy Kevin James,
Kevin James,
Yvonne Longoria,
wow,
Vanessa Hutchins, John Stamos, multiple presidents have worn them. Prime Minister Trudeau. Every member of Congress we've sent our unity socks to, and there's a rumor.
I about to say it.
Oh, you were? There's a rumor that Bob Dylan was wearing our socks when he picked up his Nobel Prize.
Wow.
Now, did you start this rumor?
Yeah. Did you start
it? But he hasn't denied it.
Okay.
Well, Dylan was a known prankster, so he might go along with this rumor and might totally endorse it. That would be a very cool thing.
Now, John, do you have other people employed that have Down syndrome as well?
How many employees do we have?
We have 32, please.
34 employees.
34, please.
How many have a differing ability?
We have 22 with a differing ability.
More than half of our colleagues have a differing ability: autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy. We have a mission to
express happiness,
but much of that is based on showing what people with differing abilities can do.
Interesting.
So,
I'm just curious now. Your operation there is your business, but I'm just curious. Like, if it's not a brick and mortar store where people are walking in, are these people fulfilling phone orders, or are they just fulfilling the website orders? I mean, 34 seems like a lot for an online business.
Well, not all 34 work every day. I mean, we're getting into the weeds a little bit here, but many people with a disability are on SSI. If they work, it's a terrible situation, but if they work too many hours, they lose their benefits.
That's the
So
situation
we have a
I'm
lot of
in.
people that work a small number of hours, but anybody who sells online, you have to be able to fulfill orders. So we have a giant warehouse, and orders come in, you pick them, you pack them, and you send them out. What do we call our pickers?
Sock wranglers.
Sock wranglers.
Wow.
We love our sock wranglers.
All right.
Sacre bleu.
Yeah. Sock ambassadors or something.
Well, that's awesome that you guys do that, because I'm in a wheelchair myself, and I know that finding work that I can do that's gonna not cost me my benefits is nearly impossible when you're looking at regular employers. Because
they do discriminate against people from Indiana, so I'm sorry you're not eligible.
That's true. That is true.
And your personality is definitely a turnoff. It's not your wheelchair that's stopping you from working. It's your personality.
It's the Indiana. We could smell the corn on you.
That's true.
It's that husky. You wear husky. No,
we do
husky shirts.
We do go to Washington. We meet with elected officials all the time, advocating for changes in laws, and changes exactly on that. Of let people hold on to more of their money, let people work. We've testified twice before Congress. We have to add now, we were not subpoenaed. but we go and do it. We meet with elected officials often, pushing for changes in.
Well, that makes sense because if you were subpoenaed, you probably wouldn't have shown up. So,
Well,
yeah.
right, you don't have. We would declare executive privilege and say we don't have to do that.
Executive sock privilege. Yeah, that's matter of fact. That's a thing now.
So I'm curious about how happiness ties into this stuff. I mean, listen, I when my feet are cold, putting warm socks on, I guess that increases my happiness a little bit. But I'm just where the spreading happiness ties into the business model here. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, because here's what you get. You get socks from us you're going to love. And when you put those socks on, they make you feel happy because they're great socks. But what you also know is when you buy those socks, you help us employ people with different abilities.
Yeah.
You help us give back. John here has donated over $800,000 to our charity partners. Like who's some of the charity partners?
Congratulations. That's tremendous. I mean,
Thank you. I spent the pick. Now it's what down some exciting and all this exciting America.
So you get socks you love, you help employ people, you give back, you're spreading happiness.
Okay, very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, as far as the design goes, do you design? I mean, when you're coming up with, and I'm looking at the crazy socks, you got like a piano roll sock here on the website, all sorts of different things, American flag stuff, and hearts and roses and things that look like cowboy boots. Also, who does it? Do you have a dedicated designer on your team, or do you come up with the designs yourself? Suggested designs? How does the design?
Everybody helps design socks. So you've designed a lot.
I design. You mentioned about comic boot, and we also carry comic boot.
Right, you mentioned that. So everybody at our place does, our customers do, but we have a dedicated design team that takes those ideas and turns them into designs.
Wow. Do you have an affiliate program? Because we'd like to sell you socks and take a commission.
We don't have a formal affiliate program, but we will set one up just for you.
Oh, that would be beautiful. I'm serious. I mean, I would definitely help.
Now,
I like the fact that you have a worthy cause behind this stuff. You are donating to charitable causes. I love that you're giving back and making your business not just about getting rich, but also making a profit, but also or making some money, but also giving back. I really appreciate that concept. I'm sorry, Stephen. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Now, do you guys accept like custom design orders and bulk orders and things like that?
We do. We do custom socks. That's actually the fastest growing part of our business. So we make them for, I don't know, Microsoft, IBM, big companies, but we make them for Sweet 16 parties and the lawyer down the block, and we've made them for radio hosts. We've made them for podcast hosts.
Wow.
So that's awesome. Yeah, because I'm doing a fundraiser for a handicap van, and I think it'd be cool to create some custom socks for that. And
well, we
and
have two things.
gigs and stuff.
We have a bunch of things we can do. One, we can make custom socks, and a lot of nonprofits do that and then sell them to raise money or offer them as thank you gifts or incentive gifts. Heck, Holy Cross College raised $800,000 for our socks. So that's one thing. The second thing, Stephen, is we have a charity fundraising program. Simple. We give you a charity code. You give it to your supporters. They buy something in our store. That customer gets a free gift from John, and you get 10% of that sale. So it's a way to raise money. Plus, if you're doing a raffle or an auction, let us know. We'll donate a box of socks you can auction off.
And I also, my dad mentioned, I wanted to handle that. It's my mom, Carol. She takes care of Benjamin and the BTB.
Yeah, you talk to Mama Bear. The Mama Bear will take care of you.
Well, awesome. Well, I will be in touch with you guys for sure then, and see what we can figure out. I think that'd be cool.
All right.
Or we could teach you how to steal a car, steal a van.
Yeah.
Tell us.
I mean,
give us
yeah,
an
we'll
order.
talk.
Tell us-
We'll talk.
Yeah.
Now, your socks are they made? Are they all of your socks are made of cotton, or some of them with bamboo? You know, because there's people using bamboo for sheets and stuff like that. So this because of a sustainability model and stuff like that. So what are your socks made from?
All different ingredients, and they're made all around the world. There are two basic ways of making socks. One are knit
It's
socks.
by hand. One is by hand.
No, not really.
No.
Knit socks, so you got to get yarn, and it's usually cotton. You dye it, and then you put it on these high-speed machines, and then you weave in using usually rayon or nylon or design. The other way is called sublimated or printed socks. You take a pre-made sock.
It's more like three different types of sock.
And then
I like one sock.
Well, that one's going to be polyester, and you print the design on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
We are moving towards more sustainability. So our packaging, we work with a group of students out of Cornell to make our packaging biodegradable, and we've reduced the amount we put in the package. But here's what you get in the package. And back to your question, how do we spread happiness? So when you get socks from us, you get this brightly colored package with John's face on the outside.
Yeah.
You open it up, you get your socks. You get a thank you note from John. You get candy. We put candy in every package.
Oh, I'm down.
Okay,
You should have opened with that.
You're getting a kickback. You're getting a kickback from my dentist.
Back to your order. So you don't just get socks. You get a dose of happiness.
Wow.
It sounds like you're getting a kickback from my dentist, putting candy in with the socks. It sounds right there. Like it says, you give them candy, we'll give you an extra few percent because we're getting cavities in return.
Well, we did have something, a problem that came up. And one day, one of our happiness packers came to us and said, we sell socks for diabetics. And we're sending socks to diabetics and sending them candy. What's wrong with this picture? So now we have a supply of sugar-free candy that goes with the diabetic socks.
Wow. I guess you'd have to specify whether you're sugar tolerant.
We kind of have a clue with that if you're buying socks for diabetics.
All right. Now, as far as selling one product and one product alone, I was making some fun of this because on my radio show, we used to have fake sponsors that were, Larry's Ladle and Nothing But Ladles and Stewie's Spatula City. Have you ever thought about like adding, complimentary products? I don't know whether it's shoe, something, anything different. Because when I mentioned
Christmas is coming up, Christmas stockings.
Christmas stockings would be good. But when I buy socks, generally, I'm not going out for socks. I'm buying underwear, I'm buying shirts, I'm buying whatever. And
we have to help you. We have to help you. You're leaving a boring life. We need to bring some color to your life.
Yeah,
It'll
you're
be
right.
like the Wizard of Oz, going from black and white to color.
Definitely, I do. But
yes, we're always looking for other products, in part because we're very seasonal. Nobody buys socks in the summer. And we do 60% of our business right now at the holiday season.
Wow, nobody buys socks in the summer.
Starting in January, we're going to be a sponsor of the Pro Bowling Tour. And so in addition to socks for bowlers, we're going to introduce bowling shirts. That will go well with your socks.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm all for that. Now, because when I'm just curious, like people, you're only online. I'm wondering. I got to look this up later. The amount of Google searches for socks. I mean, the people finding you, they must already know that you exist. You must be getting a lot of direct traffic that already knows you exist at johnscrazysocks.com for people out there. But so I'm just curious. How are they finding you? Do you know?
They find us in lots of ways, but yes, there are lots of Google searches or now Perplexity searches as AI takes over. On social media, we have a large social media following. You got about 250,000 people on Facebook.
Yeah.
We sell right now. We're selling about $2 million worth of socks a year.
Wow!
But We want to grow so we can create more jobs and have more people find us. So you're helping us.
Yeah.
You're helping us by spreading the word. And my partner here, he climbed off his deathbed this morning to be on this call.
No.
Oh, normally he's lighting up like a neon sign.
Oh, you're not feeling well?
I'm okay. I had a little something in my throat.
Little sick.
Okay,
Right.
John, just so you know, you didn't. If your dad is making you do this, you didn't have to fake to be sick. You just said,
Really?
"Dad, I don't want to be seen with Matt. I feel terrible." Yeah, you didn't have to fake being sick. Just say, "Dad, I don't want to be on the show with Matt. He scares me." You know, just be honest with your dad. He's going to love you anyway.
Actually, it happened on Friday.
People we've been with.
Now, if I may,
I'm just saying, John, it's okay to tell your dad because your dad's not going to stop loving you. He's going to love you anyway. Just say, "Dad, I don't want to be seen with Matt." It's okay.
We did have a guest who felt that way on Friday, so it's not that uncommon to have people just bail. But if we may divert away from the sock discussion here for just a moment, because I think somebody who does work for you, when they first contacted me, they talked about how you found this show. Now, I'm thinking there was a lady who was in her bed, hospital bed, a local minister from Copeg, New York. I think that's how you found this program. Is that correct? Am I?
Maybe our colleague Maria found it, and we checked it out and said we're going to love being on this show because you guys are fun and high energy. We weren't sure about you, but we wanted to be with Stephen.
All right.
You know what's funny? You know what the funny thing is? What you just said. Everybody feels that way except our spouses.
Yeah. That's pretty true. Yeah.
Our spouses are the ones that are like, okay, why are people listening to you? Why?
That's another thing. During the pandemic, we started a Facebook Live show. We now do that. We have a podcast. But there were points during the pandemic, there were 40,000 people tuning in to hear us on Facebook Live. And I'm wondering, what are these people doing with their lives?
Yeah.
They've got to have something better to do than hearing us telling jokes, right?
Yes.
Sock puppet comedians would be. I mean, a TikTok sock puppet guy would be great marketing, right? Or Sherry Lewis with Lamb Chop, somebody like that.
Actually, we could do that. We could actually do a charity event with his socks on our hands where we're telling our jokes with his socks.
I would absolutely do that. If you had sock puppets available on your website, I would get them immediately. That would be awesome.
Can
turn any pair of socks into a sock puppet?
That's what I was going to say.
All it takes is a rubber band.
If you're doing that, your jokes are going to be so much funnier.
I think so. I think we're on to something.
Or actually, it would be the first time a sock has been banned for telling the dirty jokes. I was like, whoa! Oh man, that sock is banned. That sock cannot be. That sock is not allowed to be near other feet forever.
We'd have to watch because John here has to approve everything we sell, and you don't like cursing and dirty language.
No, really.
But we had somebody came and said, we're selling these naughty reindeer socks. And how did John approve this?
Yeah,
and I go to him and I say, did you see it? And you said, well, they're dancing, right?
Yeah, I said feeling.
And then I said, well, no, you got to look closer at those socks and what those reindeer are doing. And he looked and said, oh my God, we can't sell these.
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
If you don't let the deer do what the deer do, you won't have more deer doing what the deer do.
This is understood.
Yeah.
It's biology.
A good portion of our audience, their first girlfriend was a sock. So
that's true. Yeah. See, and what are you going to do about that, John? You can't. Yeah, John, you can't stop that. That's nature. You can't stop that. Just accept the fact that some of your socks are going to be loved in ways that you didn't plan on it.
Yeah.
Man, I helped my cousin clean out his bedroom when he moved out of his parents' house. I've seen socks in situations you would not wish on your worst enemy, man. That's sad.
You ever hear a sock cry in the middle of the night because of the things that have happened? It just socks are the saddest crying.
It does.
No, I've seen a sock stand up and yell at me though, and that scared me. So
it does lead to some new design possibilities. of what you would put on the socks that people would have while doing that.
I would like, this is what I would like, and I might even send you some. I would like Jackie Mason's face, because I used to do a Jackie Mason clam puppet, but I will do a Jackie Mason sock puppet thing for TikTok if I could get it.
Here we go, John. This is it right now. You send us a sock each, and we will wear your socks and do our show. We will do our show just without socks.
I was thinking if we do a Thanksgiving show, we could have everybody do a different sock puppet for the entire.
That's an idea.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Yes, I'm down. I'm down with it. Yeah.
I got to refine my sock jokes. There's something afoot.
That's the one I was going to do. Darn it.
You know what, John? You know what? John's sock makes me wish I could feel my legs even more.
Yeah, you just got to toe the line.
You have one for him?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Why your sock got a hole in it?
Why your sock got a hole in it? I think that's the punchline.
You get a hole in one.
That's why. I think you gave the punchline too soon. Why did the golfer bring in extra pair of socks?
Oh yeah.
In case he got a hole in one.
See, it makes a little more sense.
That's a good one, though.
John just let me know that he's ready to be a comedian.
John, among other things, is about to publish 2 books. Now, one of them is a picture book aimed for elementary school students on Down syndrome. But what's the other book?
Other book, Sean book of jokes.
John's giant book of jokes. Because for 4 years, he's been telling jokes on our Facebook Live and then podcast. And he said I should do a book of jokes.
We need to contact, what's the guy's name now? I can't remember his name. No, the guy who was the George something. I can't remember. He was the executive producer of Laugh-In to get the rights to all the Sock It To Me clips. You got all George Slater or something like that. Something. I think
that's right. Then we could capture the audience that's over 80.
Yeah. Well, that's
but then you'd be selling compression socks. So.
All right. Not to like make everything way too serious here, but there's a lot of confusion about all different conditions, and Down syndrome often gets confused for like autism and all this stuff. Can you explain to the audience what exactly is Down syndrome and what it means?
So all of us humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes. People with Down syndrome have a little bit extra. What do you call it?
Extra love.
A little extra love. People with Down syndrome have an extra 21st chromosome. And with that comes certain shared characteristics. You'll be able to relate to this. I think of it as an old-fashioned Chinese menu. You get everything in column A, and you get to pick and choose from column B, except you don't get to do the choosing. So some of the shared characteristics are facial features, low muscle tone, intellectual development disabilities. Some are inconsequential. If you look at the palm of your hand, you have 3 creases running across it. People with Down syndrome only have 2.
Wow.
Then there are medical challenges. So John here, for example, like about 10% of people born with Down syndrome was born with an incomplete intestine. So on I'll bring it down a bit. On day 3 of his life, he needed intestinal bypass surgery. We didn't know if he'd survive. We brought a Catholic priest into the NICU to baptize him. And then about 50% of people born with Down syndrome are born with significant heart defects. So John had 2 holes in his heart. To give you an idea of what that was like, when he was born, he weighed 6 pounds, 6 ounces. 3 months later, he weighed 6 pounds, 5 ounces.
Wow.
The heart couldn't support him, couldn't grow. I held him in my arms. He was literally turning blue with full congestive heart failure and needed heart surgery.
How long before you kind of realized that he was going to be viable? Because I would be scared that he wasn't going to make it.
Day 1, the night he was born, and this this is how a lot of people here. We did not know in advance that he would be born with Down syndrome. It wasn't a good test in those days. He was born in 1996. When he was born, doctor said you have a healthy baby, and then a short time later, doctor came in to my wife and myself and said, "I'm so sorry. I have bad news for you. It appears that your son may have a slight case of Down syndrome," which was awful. Because, if you're a parent, all you should hear is congratulations. But this is, give you an idea. When John was young, he couldn't talk. He learned sign language to communicate. Now, you're a professional speaker. You travel the country giving keynote speeches. We're going to California tomorrow, speaking at a conference.
Wow.
Week ago, we were in Massachusetts. Before that, in Connecticut. Before that, Indiana. And before that, Wisconsin.
Indiana, I would recommend staying out of that state. That's a very
yeah.
Ever since Bobby Knight left, it's really struggled.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question real quick that's totally related to socks. How did John? Is John named after someone in your family, or why is John named John?
Who you named after?
John Lee Hooker.
John Lee Hooker, and he's named after John Lee Hooker, Johnny Cash, and Jack Kerouac.
Okay.
All right.
So which one's your favorite uncle? Right? Because they're all uncles, right?
Right, kind of. So you love them all, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't have big favorites.
All right, very cool. Well, it's an inspiring story, and you know what? I appreciate all you're doing. I think it's great that you're doing it. And to me, when I'm hearing you tell that story and how the doctors, I have bad news for you. I'm gonna sound like I'm being like really just Pollyannish here, but I think in a lot of ways I have not seen many father and son relationships that I would completely be jealous of. I think in some ways it has it been a blessing. Am I incorrect in saying?
We are so fortunate. We have 3 sons. John.
Well, you Fred McMurray, you old Fred McMurray.
Right, that's it. John has made us better people. John has helped us see the world and the strengths in everybody you see.
Yeah.
We all have different strengths. We all have different abilities. John flourishes, and nobody lives a fuller life than John. And so that's a lot of what we do, right? We go around showing that off. Look what's possible. Look what each of us can do, and look what the people we meet can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you would necessarily want for people. You wouldn't say, "Oh, well, I hope your child is born with Down syndrome." But when it happens, and you see what has come of your relationship with your son, I can't help but feel a little jealous. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, it sounds like you have a life together and a common mission together, and a very, very tight relationship, and that's really the most important thing in this journey called life. So, congratulations for setting a wonderful example for people.
We're fortunate, though. Don't say too many nice things. I'll get my other 2 sons to give some dissenting.
Did they work in the sock business?
The other 2 sons already sent us a bunch of comments that we could say. Right here, we have
one of them. One of them does. It was touch and go. My son James, your brother Jamie, is our Lord of the Socks. He runs our warehouse, but he worked with us for a bit and then left, which was good because at that point, if he kept working with us, you were going to find us both in a pool of blood on the floor with axes in our heads.
I was thinking as you were saying that. Remember what was the show? Orange County Cycles or something like that. The father and son motorcycle business. It was a small business, but a reality show based on that. And they were always fighting and all this kind of stuff. But it made for some really good reality television or scripted reality. I don't know what.
My wife works in the business too. His mom. That's a whole nother thing. you know, of working with your spouse.
Have you ever considered what I was just getting to, this idea of videotaping and doing that as a reality TV show pilot of the running of John's Crazy Socks?
We have spoken to some reality shows that decided to pass on us. We're waiting to hear back from one now that may want to come in and do an episode built around what we do. But we share a lot of what we do on YouTube and video, you know, at different social media platforms. John, well, here's something we can invite you to join. What do you do every Tuesday afternoon?
I host an online dance party every Tuesday, 3 p.m.
He hosts an online dance party every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Because what better way to spread happiness than have people dance?
Now, is that available on the website? Where do we find that?
You can sign up at the website. It's a Zoom connection, but at the website, you know, you can get everything. You go down to the bottom, you find out about the dance party, the tours that we run. John's given tours to more than 2,000 people in our operation.
Wow, you guys.
Now, John, a CEO of a sock company having a dance party at 3 o'clock. Do you think you're going to make the other CEOs look bad?
Do other CEOs look bad because you're dancing? Nah, you don't.
No, like Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg isn't dancing at 3 o'clock with employees and stuff like
normally,
that. You know,
the one he talks about is, you know, he puts candy in a thank you note in every package. What does Jeff Bezos put in his packages at Amazon?
Yeah,
you don't want to know because his drivers don't get to take a break.
He puts in. I know exactly what he puts in these things he call peanuts, but they really they do nothing, and they're bad for the environment. I don't know.
What are you spreading?
Spread happiness.
What's Jeff Bezos spreading? Not happiness.
Chlamydia.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys are an inspiration, man. I appreciate all you do. Now, I think it was Tony in the chat room was talking about your involvement with PAL. What do you do with the Police Athletic League?
We have police tribute socks, and they raise money for the Nassau County Police Athletic League.
Now, let me just, I appreciate that part of what you're doing too. You're on Bi-County Boulevard. The reason it's called Bi-County Boulevard is really you're in two counties, right? You're in Nassau and Suffolk, but I think you're more in Suffolk as geographically. But you're working with Nassau PAL. Do you work with Suffolk at all?
We haven't done anything with Suffolk PAL. We do things both with national charities, because let me put it in some context. Our Giving Back program, we donate 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics.
Wow.
Because he's a Special Olympic athlete.
I am.
And as are a number of our colleagues, some of us are coaches. But then we create products that celebrate causes, raise awareness, and raise money for those causes. So what were the first awareness socks we had?
Down syndrome awareness socks.
Down syndrome awareness socks. And who designed those?
I did.
You did. So
You guys
those
are
raise
amazing.
money for National Down Syndrome Society, but also a group that happens to be based in Nassau, ACDS.
Wow.
We do work with some Suffolk-based groups like our Cerebral Palsy Awareness Socks, raise money for UCP Long Island, which is based in Suffolk.
Wow.
Our EMT tribute socks raise money for the Huntington First Aid Squad. Our healthcare superhero socks, which we put out during the pandemic, raised over $50,000, and that goes to the American Nurses Foundation, but also to Good Samaritan Hospital down in West Islip.
Oh, I got to say goodbye to Govs. I got to get off Govs Network. Tony's starting this show. Let me say goodbye to Govs really quick. Govs, where are you, Govs? Why are you not letting me dismiss you? You are live, but what's going on here?